I work in a second-hand store, not in the US, and we have a policy that we don't do returns or exchanges. We have notes all over the store saying that, and the receipt clearly states it too. Today when I was working the register, a man in his late 40s came up to me with a vinyl record and wanted to return it because he already had another copy of it at home. It had cost him a little less than your $3 when he bought it from us. I said, "Unfortunately we don't do returns or exchanges," and he exploded. The look on his face was fascinating. He got completely red, eyes widened, his jaw dropped to the floor, and smoke would shoot out of his ears if it could. At first he asked what we would do if the record was broken, because all of a sudden the record had a scratch at the end, even though just a second ago that wasn't why he wanted to return it. I answered that we are unable to try the vinyls before we sell them and can only go by the quality of the record itself. That apparently just made it even worse, and he yelled, "You are making me so fucking angry. How about this then?" and broke the record in half in front of me. When it didn't completely break, he then did it again, over his leg this time. Then he threw it on the floor and stormed out yelling about how much we sucked. Why is grown people acting worse than a 4-year-old over €3 when it's their own mistake? Lol. Well, at least I never have to see him again. I got support from other customers while he threw the tantrum, so at least I had people there to roll my eyes with. Edit: I forgot to mention that at first he threw the broken record on the floor, but then picked it up just to take it outside and throw it on the ground there instead. At least he cleaned up after himself, I guess. At my job at a big chain store, there's this work area where customers need to wait for us to get their stuff or do checkups of some of the more technical products. What often happens is that many customers tend to stand right in front of the entrance to this area while they wait, even though there's tons of room for them to stand, so we regularly have to ask people to move in order for us to, be able to do our jobs. Now this one family, a woman, her husband and 3 kids, were waiting for a colleague of mine to get their products, completely blocking the way. I needed to pass to get something for someone else and politely asked them to move. A minute later, I need to walk back out and there they are again, cutting off my path, so once again I have to ask them to move, this time adding they can wait a bit further. 2 minutes later. You guessed it. The whole family casually standing there, blocking the whole entrance. This time, I tell them we regularly need to pass through here and that I'd appreciate it if they could stand a bit further. Then, the woman, clearly annoyed, says, "You really should be more polite to customers." "How so?" I ask. "I just think you're impolite, talking to us like that." "I'm not sure I understand, ma'am. How was what I said impolite?" "It's not what you said, it's the way you said it." "Well, ma'am, I apologize if I appeared impolite. In my defense, I had to ask you to move 3 times, so yes, perhaps you detected a little frustration on my part. I'm sure if you have to tell your kids the same thing 3 times you get a little frustrated as well." She didn't immediately know how to respond to that and looked at her husband, who wisely said nothing. Then I extremely politely told her I had another customer waiting and that I needed to pass. The woman, however, decided she wasn't done with me yet. "I find it extremely rude of you to bring my children into this. This is very unprofessional of you." I just stared at her, as if to say seriously. "As a customer," she went on, "I deserve to be treated with respect. And as a human, I deserve better than to be called rude by someone who clearly doesn't respect me or my job. You can't talk to me like that. I want to speak with your manager." "No, you don't. He'll back me up and tell you to treat me with respect or leave. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm not going to argue with you anymore. I have a job to do and you're preventing me from doing it." I left, and when I returned a few minutes later they were gone. The manager part was a bluff, though. He's new and I have no clue how he'd handle it. Customer comes in with a coworker and says he will buy lunch today. Coworker says okay, and proceeds to talk to my coworker since they were mutual friends. Customer that offered to buy brings up their items and I ring it up. Total comes to $20.37. He hands me a 20. I repeat, it's $20.37. He looks at me, opens his wallet, then pats his pocket, then says that's all I got. I say it's fine, I can cover the rest. He says I'm a lifesaver. Then we get to talking about how he's new around here, moved from opposite sides of the country, large city to tiny town, etc. Probably lasted 10 minutes and was a good conversation. His co-worker comes up and suddenly he looks at me and goes, "Don't I get change?" I am dumbfounded and just tell him, no. I covered the rest. He then says that he gave me a $50. I open my till to look and lo and behold, no 50s in my drawer. I lifted up my drawer, searched, had my co-worker search, offered to count out my till and empty out my pockets, which he is quick to say no to. He says that I must have got caught up in the conversation, I misplaced it, sucks that he lost 30 bucks. I say to him I have no idea what to tell you, there are no 50s in my drawer. If I give you 30 I'll be 30 short. It finally ends when his co-worker comments it must have been a 20 if there are none in there. Counted my till at end of shift, it was balanced. People are weird. I just remembered this story from my time working at a furniture store as a delivery driver. The furniture store I used to work at, 9 times out of 10, if a customer saw something on the display floor they wanted, we'd just take the item off the floor. That way, the sales staff wouldn't have to order a new one, they can replace it with something different, and that way the customer would get their piece of furniture rather quickly. We didn't have storage, so it's one of those things where if it's on the floor, it would be our only one. So this one day, a customer bought a couch off the floor, asking it to be delivered. Me and a co-worker later in the day prepped the couch, groaning amongst ourselves because it was a sofa bed. And those things are heavy and awkward, especially when you have to get into houses. We load up, wrap the couch up, and deliver it. It takes us about 15 minutes to get through the narrow doors, and setting it in the customer's living room. As we unwrap the couch, checking over everything to make sure everything worked correctly, including the pull-out bed, suddenly the customer says that's not the couch I ordered. We ask her what she means, and she replied I did not order a sofa bed. I told her this was the couch that was on our show floor that she picked out. She argued back that it's the same style, but the one she wanted didn't have a sofa bed. We again told her that this is the very one she looked at on the floor, because we carried it out of the showroom after she bought it, and that there is a tag on there very clearly saying it's a sofa bed. She said she didn't want it if it was a sofa bed, so me and my co-worker told her she's gonna have to call the associate she bought the unit from. She calls, and I can hear her asking the associate why she got a sofa bed. The associate informed her that was the very couch she picked. And that she didn't mention she did not want a sofa bed. That she only saw the couch, sat on it, and said she wanted to buy it. She told the associate it's no good to her because it has a sofa bed. So my associate told us over the phone to bring it back, and informed the customer she'll be refunded the money back for the couch, but not the delivery fee. The customer was a little annoyed by that, apparently since she thought she was returning the couch, she should get the delivery fee refunded. Me and my co-worker just loaded the couch back up, and brought it back to the store. I work at a specialty retail store and one of the services we offer is device repair. Older lady dropped off an iPad mini for a new battery and probably a new screen. The screen had some minor cracking, so 50-50 we could get it off without making it worse, so we quoted the price of a new screen as well. During the check-in of the device we ask for the passcode so we can check everything functions, camera, Wi-Fi, speakers, and microphone. Customer declined, which isn't that uncommon. Repair goes well, screen did get damaged so that got replaced. Customer picks it up and takes it home. She comes back about an hour later and starts yelling at me we changed the passcode. She had disabled the iPad for an hour because of too many failed attempts to log in, and it was of course my fault. I explained to her that since she declined to give us her passcode it was impossible for us to have changed it. Anyone who works in device repair knows if you mess something up with a device it's usually catastrophic and doesn't work at all. She wanted a discount or her money back, which sure as hell wasn't happening. I'm also the assistant store manager, so I told her we aren't responsible for her getting locked out and the only way she's getting a refund is if I put the old non-functioning battery back in and the cracked screen back on. Did a literal huff and stomped out. Haven't seen her since. This happened a while ago, but I've been reading through this sub and felt inspired to share. I was working at one of the only bookstore chains left in the US when I got a call from an older woman. It started out unremarkable, with her asking for directions to our store. Then she asked if we had a certain beauty store next to ours. We in fact did. Then she launches into a line of questioning that went like this. Do they, the beauty store, have 20 product? Me, I'm not sure ma'am, I don't work there. I'd be happy to answer any questions about our store's products though. Well, can you tell me how much 20 product is? Me, no. I have no idea about any of their products. I don't work there. I hardly ever even go in there. Sounding annoyed, well, can you at least give me their phone number then so I can talk to someone that knows? Me, I don't have it on hand. Why don't you look it up? She then hangs up on me, but not before telling me how unhelpful and rude I am.